Hello and welcome back to Gapeys Grub. Today we're going to be using this MasterBuilt electric smoker with a cold smoke attachment to smoke up some chilies to make into a smoked chili powder. So let's get started. So here are our peppers, and what I did was after washing them, I sliced them in half and removed the seeds. These are the bulldog paprika peppers, and then the other tray is the apple crisp peppers. So both of these are pretty mild peppers, so this is going to be a very mild chili powder that I'm going to be making, which is different from what I normally do. Most of my powders are really hot, so this is going to be something different. And this is also the first time that I will be smoking peppers for a chili powder, so I'm excited to see how that will turn out. Now what I did was I took the grates that came with the smoker and just lined them with tin foil, and then I poked a few holes or slits in the top so that the smoke can come through the tin foil. So let's go ahead and put these into the smoker. So there's a little latch on the side that you just flip open, and that opens up the smoker. So all of the smoke that we're going to be using is going to be coming from the cold smoker, so I'm not going to be putting any wood chips in the main smoker. So we want to make sure that the vents are open, because if they're not, then the smoke is not going to go through. So this has to be open. And you can adjust this to make it closed a little bit or a lot, but I'm going to leave this wide open. And then here in our cold smoker is where the chips are going to go. So I'm using cherry chips for this, and I did not pre-soak these. I've watched a few videos on the smoker, and the recommendation seems to be to not pre-soak your chips. So we're going to go ahead and put some chips in here. So here's the little device that you can take out that holds the chips. So this is kind of like a chimney. So I'm just going to fill this about halfway, because we don't want to run this too long. If you fill it all the way to the top, I think it lasts about 6 hours, but we don't need 6 hours of smoke. So we're just gonna smoke it for a couple hours probably. So we're just going to check our level there. And you're not supposed to use wood pellets for this smoker. They do recommend chips. So that's what I've got here. All right, that is probably enough chips. So we'll just put this back, and this does have a little grate on the bottom, and the burner is on the bottom there. So there's no temperature gauge on the cold smoker, so all you have to do is push this on-off switch to turn it on, and then it should start smoking in a matter of minutes. It gets started really fast. Now on our main smoker here, we can go ahead and turn this on. It's a little bit hard to see. So we want to use the lowest temperature possible. So I'm going to make sure it's at the lowest. So it looks like 100 degrees is as low as it will go. So that is what I'm going to set it at. You can also set a timer if you want, but we're just going to go ahead and let it go. So let's see how long it takes to start smoking. So it's only been about 4 minutes, and look how much smoke is already coming out of the smoker. So it is crazy fast. If you didn't use the cold smoker, it would have taken a lot longer to get the smoke started. And this is really a highly recommended attachment if you have an electric smoker. So I would definitely recommend getting one of those cold smoker attachments. Whether you're doing cold smoke or not, it just produces a lot of smoke and really fast, and it produces smoke for much longer than what the main smoker unit will do. So we're gonna go ahead and let this go for an hour or two, and we'll see how they look when they're done. All right, it's just been a few more minutes and look how much more smoke is coming out of there. All right, it's been an hour and a half and we're still seeing some smoke coming out of here, so it's still looking really good. Let's just take a peek at the peppers and see how they're looking. So here they are. They're looking really good. They're still pretty firm, so nothing is getting burnt, so that's a good sign. So we'll just let these go a little bit longer, and then we'll take them out and put them in the dehydrator. Alright, so this is my 9-tray Excalibur food dehydrator, and when I'm dehydrating peppers I like to set the temperature to 125 degrees, and the time it takes to dehydrate peppers really depends on the thickness of the pepper. So these paprikas are a little bit thinner walls than the apple crisp, so these ones may get done a little sooner than the others, so we'll just have to keep an eye on those. I usually check them after a couple hours or so just to see how they're coming along. So let's go ahead and get these filled up. And you should make sure that they're in an even layer and not overlapping each other. So I don't have too many peppers to dehydrate right now, so we're only going to fill up 2 trays. But this one does go up to 9 trays. All right, that looks pretty good. All right, so let's go ahead and turn her on. And there is a timer on here. So I'm just gonna go, we'll start with 6 hours. Oh, it would help if it was plugged in, huh? All right, so we got 6 hours on the timer. So we'll check back in a few hours and see how they're doing. All right, it's been about 5 hours, so we're gonna take a peek and see how the peppers are looking. So these are the paprikas. They're still feeling a little bit rubbery, so they're not quite ready yet. So we're gonna let these go a while longer. So I'm going to increase the time. We'll check back in a few more. Okay, the 6 hours is up, so let's see if they're ready. Oh yeah, so you can see that just crumbled. So that is pretty good. Let's check some of the others. Looking good. There's a little bit of give, but that should be good. You don't want it to just bend, so it's breaking apart pretty easily. So let's check the other ones. So these had a thicker skin, so these ones aren't quite ready. They're not crumbling or coming apart very easily. So these guys could use a little bit longer. So I'm gonna go maybe 2 more hours on the bottom ones, and we'll go ahead and take these guys out and grind them up. So to grind up these peppers, I'm going to be using my Magic Bullet with the flat blade attachment, and we're just going to get these pods in here. We could crush them up a little bit to get it a head start. All right. Still a little bit of chunks in there, so I'm going to give it another. Alright, so we got a pretty fine powder there. So now we're just going to put that into a jar. And I've got a small spice jar here. I'm just going to use this funnel so I don't make a big mess. So we had just enough to almost fill one jar with just the paprika. And these spice jars are also available on Amazon. That's where I got these. And they come with these little shaker lids. And there we go. There's our smoked paprika powder. Alright, it's time to take another peek. It should be ready by now. Yep, nice and crispy. Alright, we're going to go ahead and grind these guys up. Okay, we're going to use the same method that we did for the paprika. And I didn't even wash this because that would leave some water in there. Even if you use a paper towel or anything to dry that, I just want to keep as much liquid and moisture out of here as possible because we don't want any moisture in there. So I'm going to go ahead and get these peppers in there. So these ones are smaller, so we don't really need to break them up. And they should all fit in there. And if not, we'll just push them down a little bit. Okay, that's all of them. All right. I was going to initially mix these together, but I decided to just keep them separate. So this is the paprika, and I'm going to use a chalk marker just to temporarily mark which one is which. So I'm just going to put a P on there for paprika, and I'm going to make some labels for those in a minute. And then this one is the apple crisp, so I'll just put an A on there. And since this is a chalk marker, this will wipe right off, so it's not going to be on there permanently. All right, and we're going to go ahead and funnel that into a new jar. You can definitely smell the smoke in the powder. So I think we got a little more of this guy than the other one. So I'm going to end up with 2 jars of this one, or at least 1.5 jars. Okay, I'm going to have to go get another jar. I'll be right back. So that one didn't fill up very much, so we'll use this one first. And we're going to put an A on the top of this one. Now when I do labels for these little jars, what I do is use these Avery 8160, which is the address labels, and these fit perfectly around the bottle. So you can get a template on Avery's website, and I use a Microsoft Word template, and then just print out the labels, so it's really easy. Alright, here's the finished labels. I've got Paula's Pain, which is what I call all my hot sauces and powders, and then I've got the year 2020, and then smoked paprika powder and smoked apple crisp powder, and then I just put it below that cold smoked peppers, and these are only a single variety powder, but if I had multiple varieties, then I would list all the different varieties that are in the powder. So let's go ahead and put these on. So we only have one of the paprikas. So there's our label. And then we can go ahead and wipe that P off of there, so we don't need that anymore. And then here's our apple crisp. that off. So that looks good. And we have our last one here. And that's all there is to making your own smoked chili powder. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you again soon. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. You can also find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.